Okay, y'all, I am kind of loving these bonus episodes. This episode is got so much goodness in it. Cienna just dumps on us like the whole process of how to market our businesses. It's absolutely amazing. We don't really talk about AI much, but if you take the principles of AI and use it to help you write content and to help you be more efficient in your work, and then you take these principles that Cienna shares with us, oh my goodness, what a powerhouse. You could literally grow your business so quickly and with very little effort. So I cannot wait for you to join us in our conversation. It's absolutely gold.
Welcome to AI for Mompreneurs. This podcast is for moms who are tired of doing everything the hard way. You're running a business, managing a home, caring for your children, and making a million decisions daily, exhausted, overwhelmed, burned out, and out of time. Another planner won't fix it, more productivity hacks won't either. I know because I've been there. I'm Samantha Welch, a wife, a mom to 3 daughters, homeschooling my girls and my niece, running multiple businesses, and managing my 40-acre farm. I've burned myself out more times than I can count trying to do it all with excellence. The game changer, AI. When I learned how to use AI as my personal assistant, everything shifted. I finally had systems that worked, clarity in my business, and more time for what actually matters. Now I'm here to help you do the same. Learn how AI can take the mental load off your plate so you can focus on what truly matters most. No tech jargon or complicated setups here. Just AI that works for mamas just like us. Are you ready? Let's dive in.
Oh my gosh. So I enjoyed our discussion so much last time we talked that I'm having Cienna back on the podcast to talk all about marketing and go in depth with that because it was so fun just to chat with her before. So yeah, we're gonna do this again. So welcome back.
Thanks, Samantha. I'm so excited to be here. I cannot wait to just dive in to all things marketing with you today and just really I honestly, if you have not listened to the first episode with me and Samantha, go back and listen to it because it really has to start there, right? Like we talked about the pillars of like building a successful business and all the things. And now today we're going to talk about deepening into that, like how to dive into your marketing so you can start seeing sales, which I think is really important and why most people are in business.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is like one of my favorite as far as like I love talking about marketing and I feel like I'm not very good at it, but I love talking about it and picking other people's marketing plans apart. So, yeah, super excited about this.
Yeah. Yes, me too. And don't say you're not good at it because listen, we can all improve in some area, but you are great at everything. Like you can just I don't know, just like start saying that over your life. Like I am great at this. I can do it. It's everything is working out.
I love it. Awesome. All
Yes.
right. So,
Okay.
take us through the steps.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess it really just depends on where you're marketing, right? So I think really and truly, when it comes to having a solid and developing a solid marketing plan, you need to understand what your goals are. And also, you need to understand your family dynamic, your lifestyle dynamic, right? If you are a busy mama who is trying to grow a successful business, but also like maybe you're homeschooling mama, maybe you're you keep your kids at home all the time, or maybe you go to co-ops all the time and you're just super busy, whatever season of life you're in, you may not be able to market, let's say, for example, on Instagram. I always tell mamas, Instagram is not the best platform for you. I know that it is popular for us to say, okay, I'm gonna hop on Instagram and and create content, and it is a really good platform. Like, can you see success? Absolutely. Can you make a lot of good money? 1000%. I will never tell you no. I've built my entire business on Instagram and I'm a busy mom. But I have had to realize there are seasons for everything and it's okay to pivot. Instagram is a wonderful platform, but it's not conducive if you're super busy because I'm sure many moms can relate to being tired and overwhelmed and you're putting into your business but you're realistically drained, right? Or you're having to hire out because you just don't have time for that because you're literally just too busy. And so I always tell moms, find an easier platform. like try LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably one of the easiest platforms I've ever worked on in my life, and it doesn't require your full attention. And so that's where I kind of want to start. Like, number one is you need to figure out what platform you're going to be marketing on before you just dive into it. And I'm going to talk about strategy too. I think we should talk about strategy
Mm.
on each platform, but I think you need to know where you're spending your time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you brought up the whole season of life because I feel like we start our businesses and then we get so excited that we are like, I'm gonna do all the things. And so we jump on all the platforms and then we end up getting totally burned out. At least that's how I was. So I love that you talked about seasons. Like, what can you actually realistically handle in your life? Love that.
Mhm. Yes, exactly. And so I think, when I talk about marketing, I'm specifically talking about your own platform, right? In the last episode, we had really dived into kind of like the difference between marketing and visibility. Visibility is leveraging someone else's platform, right? So like hopping on other people's podcasts, other people's YouTube channels, going live with somebody else. That's visibility. When we talk about marketing, we're talking about your platform. So you have to think, where do you want to spend the most of your time? So if you're not as busy, I recommend Instagram. Again, I'm going to go through all of my strategies, but if you're not super busy, Instagram. If you're super, super busy and you want a similar feel to Instagram, you want to post content and you want to make sales from posting content, go to LinkedIn. It's your best bet. I promise you. I'm going to walk you through why in the next couple of moments. So stick with us. But we have to know these things. Leveraging Facebook groups is really, really great for increasing sales and increasing. You can make a really good amount of money or like grow your business, however that looks like for you through leveraging Facebook groups, right? Like that's also important. You could have your own podcast and make money through your own podcast, but we need to know where we are. And just because you have a podcast doesn't mean that you need to. A lot of people are like, okay, I have my podcast, but now I need to market my podcast. Technically, yes, that's true. But also too, if you're selling in your podcast and you're being very specific with SEO, your podcast will be found by your ideal clients. You don't necessarily need to then go on Instagram and market said podcast. It really just depends on your goals. It depends on how fast you want to achieve your goal. There's so many things to factor in when it comes to your choosing your platform. So the first step is make sure you know what platform you want to be on and don't overwhelm yourself by trying to be on all of the platforms. Your business will fail. That sounds awful. That's not true. Your business won't fail, but like you will feel like your business is failing because you'll be so burned out, is what I meant to say. You will just become so tired trying to be in all the places at one time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally agree with that 100%. I have not really thought about LinkedIn though, so I'm really interested to hear you talk about that because that seems to be,
Yeah.
I'm always thought of it as like, oh, well, that's where the big business people are that are in like the big companies, and that's not really where I'm
Yeah.
gonna find like moms that I serve per se. So I'm really interested to hear you talk about how you leverage LinkedIn.
Yeah, of course. So let's start there. Let's start off with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a really great platform because yes, you're gonna find those you hire. It's just natural, but you're also gonna find the people who want another platform to be on, right? L- LinkedIn is a beautiful platform. It does also depend on your business, but LinkedIn is really great if you're business to business. If you serve other business owners in some capacity, then LinkedIn is going to be your place to be. It can also be great for a consumer because business owners are consumers, right? We're still people at the end of the day. And so you are going to find your people. Believe it or not, video based content does really, really well on LinkedIn. So that is something that I found that is interesting, but it works. And so here's my strategy step by step for LinkedIn. I'm not going to leave any information on the table. I'm just going to like spew it all out. So hopefully if you're listening, you're taking notes. And if you're not, listen a second time and go take notes. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I want to say is with any platform, all across platforms, whether it's Instagram, link, TikTok, Facebook, it doesn't matter. You need to make sure that your profile is optimized. You need to make sure that you're this is where you need to start. Every platform, you need to start with profile optimization. This means that you have a very, very clear profile photo. This may seem basic, elementary to a lot of people. But we want to see your face. People want to see what you look like. If you have a picture on your LinkedIn or your Instagram or your Facebook or your TikTok, wherever you're marketing, and it's an old picture of you from the 90s, but we're in, the 2000s, 20 something, and your picture hasn't been updated, okay, and I go and I hop on a discovery call with you, I'm immediately never going to work with you because your picture looks so different. I'm going to feel like if I give you my money that you are a scam. And I'm not going to put my money into anything that I feel like is a scam. And so we need to make sure that we look the way that we look in our photos, right? This is it's a small detail, but it's a detail of integrity. Where does your heart posture lie here? Are we being intentional with how we show up, or are we being deceiving? And I know most people are not even thinking about, oh, that could be deception, but it is deception. And deception, I'll just say it's wrong. I'll just end it there. Deception is wrong. We're not doing it. We're not participating in it. We're not accepting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to update these things. You need to have a clear profile header or banner photo or whatever it's called, depending on the platform you're on. But they all look the same, right? They're like the rectangular, long, sideways thing. And so you want to make sure that that is updated. If that's, well, Instagram doesn't have that, but Facebook has that. TikTok, no, not TikTok. YouTube has that. That's what I meant to say. Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn has it, right? So you need a banner photo. In your banner photo, when you're on LinkedIn, when you're on Facebook, when you're in YouTube, it needs to be clear. It needs to answer 3 questions. Who are you? What do you do? And who do you serve? That's it. You don't need to put your phone number in there. You don't need to put all your ats in there, right? Your handles in there, because it's not clickable. It's a picture, it's a photo. But we need to be able to know who you are, what you do, who do you serve. Because if we know these things, then I, as a consumer, can look at Samantha's LinkedIn banner and go, okay, she serves me, or oh, she doesn't serve me. Let me move on. And now we're not wasting anybody's time because they know exactly who you serve, right? So that's
Yeah.
going to be important. Then we get to your bio, right? And so your about me. In your about me on LinkedIn, you want to give it all of the information, right? Who are you? Who do you serve? Just kind of similar to your banner, but in more detail. Who are you? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? LinkedIn specifically, go into some results. Here's some recent wins. These are some things that my clients are saying. These are some things that my customers have said about my product and or service, right? Put that all in there. You can add in your ads there. You can add in your links there, whatever that looks like for you. But you want to make sure that's filled out. The same thing with YouTube. Make sure that because I want to make sure I'm covering every platform. YouTube as well. You want to make sure that you are adding in your bio, right? Who are you? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? What are some recent wins, results, testimonials, things like that you can quickly add to your bio, right? Then from there, add all of your links. Make sure people can click to your website. Make sure people I'm going to talk more about the website thing, but make sure people can click to whatever link it is that you have because that's important. Now, let's talk about Instagram on that same front, right? When it comes to your Instagram bio is this blank area where you need to directly say who you are, who you serve, how you serve them. We're answering 3 questions right there on your link on your Instagram bio as well. So all of these platforms, they work similarly when it comes to your bio. Now, your link in your bio is going to be the most important thing because your bio needs something different. So, a lot of people, what they do is if you are selling something, they will link directly to the homepage of their website. When it comes to LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, wherever it is that you are placing your link, do not put it directly to your homepage. Why? Because you're going to realize that your click rate is high, but your drop off rate is also very high. You need your drop rate to be low, right? So we need people to stay on the page, basically, is what I'm saying in plain English. And so the way to do that and to make sales, the way to do that is to send them directly to your sales page. Do not send them to your homepage because then you're losing out on sales. No one is clicking through your homepage, reading your beautiful home. I mean, some people might, but clicking through your homepage and then going to other areas and then finding your web and then finding your landing page or finding your sales page, right? You're wasting your consumers' time. And so now you have this gap of am I able to make sales through through my website? Am I able, and that's why I see so many people as a sales coach, I see so many people who are not making sales, and it's because they are sending the traffic to the wrong place. If you take discovery calls in your business, immediately send them to your discovery call link. If you are an application based, and if the application is a part of your website, though, link them to the sales page where they can click the button apply. But if the application is not a part of your sales page, maybe you don't have a sales page, then you want to link directly to your sales page. At the end of the day, the premises is we need to link directly to where people are going to be able to buy.
Oh, that makes so much sense. So, quick question though, because like my links all go to like the pretty little link bar page that's like, find out more about this, find out more about that, find out more about that. So are you saying like I should nix that all together and just take it to like whatever I'm selling?
Yeah, so this is really going to depend on if those links in your link tree or the links that people have, those little cute little pages, they're adorable, by the way. I love them. And they can work if each link is directly taking them to where they need to go, wherever it is that you need them to go. If your links are taking them to general pages, like your About Me page or something like that, you could be losing out on sales that way unless the very first link, because people always look at the first link on the link tree thing or page, and if that first link directly takes them to the sales page, then I think you're fine and you've covered your bases. But outside of that, if your sales page is mixed in there somewhere and it's not the very first one, or maybe it's in the middle or it's the end, then you're just going to want to readjust the order to make sure that the first thing somebody sees is how they can pay you.
That makes so
Yeah.
much sense. Okay, well, I've totally done it wrong because my offer is at the bottom and then my cute, like, learn more about me and follow my podcast are at the top. So good to know.
Yeah. And I think for you in that sense, then you might want to just rearrange and move your offer. You can either move your offer to the first option, or the second one, and maybe have your podcast as the first one. So at least they can listen to you, get in your world first if they're not already, and then they can go and buy from you and they'll know exactly how to do that, right? That also is going to depend on whether or not you're selling in your podcast. So if somebody's listening and you have a podcast and you're not actively selling at the end of every single episode, which I encourage every person to do, if you have a podcast, if you are not actively selling at the end of your podcast, you are also losing out on money and losing out on sales. And so then if that's the case, then you're going to want to make sure your first link goes directly to your sales page rather than, of course, your podcast.
It makes a lot of
Yes.
sense. Okay, that's really good. I love that.
Yeah. And so all of these platforms, right? We have to make sure we're filling out the information. We have to make sure that we are using SEO friendly terms in our bios, because we need people to be able to immediately find us. And that's why I say, who are you? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? Now, Instagram is similar, right? Because we kind of covered Instagram and some different things with Instagram. But I will say Instagram is very specific when it comes to the name. Same with YouTube, same with TikTok, LinkedIn, not so much, because LinkedIn, it's your name, first and last name. But on the other platforms, you want to make sure that you have your first name, but you also put what you do. So I think like mine says Cienna, which is my first name, and then there's like a line, and then it says Christian Sales Coach, right? And so we want people in our name because your name is searchable. If you're a restaurant and you're listening to this, then you might want to put like the name of your restaurant and then like restaurant or Caribbean restaurant or Hispanic restaurant or whatever. Using those SEO key terms in your name is going to help you show up in the search bar. At this point of stage, it's not so much about hashtags as it is about SEO, which is search engine optimization. Can somebody easily search for what it is that you do and find you? And if the answer is no, then revamp. Try it again. Like let's work some things around, add in SEO, and come back to the drawing board on that one because your business needs to be able to grow, right? And so that's kind of important.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's good. I love that point. So, do you think
I know side question, but do you think hashtags are dead and we need to be more focused on what we say in our posts or what?
Yeah, hashtags are not dead per se, but you can't, I think Instagram now makes it where you can't search for hashtags. You can, if somebody uses a hashtag, you can click on the hashtag and it will take you to everyone else's account that's using that hashtag, right? But because you're not able to search for hashtags, we've now lost an entire audience base of people who would typically search for a hashtag. So now we have to be careful with our wording choice. Now, does that mean hashtags are dead? No, because there are still people who will click on somebody else's hashtag and then find other pieces of content. I'm not going to say hashtags are dead, but what I will say is there's a place for hashtags and there's a place for SEO, right, in your content. Make sure that your content is heavily SEO based. And I'm not saying just like throw in keywords, like don't make it random, but you use intentionality behind it, right? This goes back to integrity. In everything that we do, we should be honest people, right? The bottom line, honesty comes first. And so if we're not able to be honest in our content because we're throwing random words in it to help the algorithm, in some way, shape, or form, that's a form of dishonesty. And I don't promote that. I don't believe in that. And I will not tolerate or accept that. And so with that being said, we need to make sure as people, regardless of your faith, regardless of your whatever it is, I've in the last episode I talked heavily about I'm a Christian. I operate on Christian principles, biblical principles in my business. Honesty is a top pillar for me. If I see someone is being dishonest in their practices, I'm not going to hire you. I don't align with your values and beliefs, even if you claim to be another Christian. We have to do better as people in general, as a society, as business owners, and just making sure that we are operating in an integrity level. And so that means we're not throwing out random SEO words, but rather instead we are where our captions just naturally have SEO in it because we're talking about that in the content, right? And we're operating based off of how honest can we be with our content and our keywords.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes so much sense. I really love that you keep bringing about the integrity and honesty. So I think that is so important. I just absolutely 100% agree. And honestly, too, like if you are dishonest in your business, just throwing that out there, people will pick up on that because we all see those stats that people are throwing out there. And we're like, well, that sounds really good, but that's not even realistically possible, where people are promising all this
Right.
stuff and you're like, well, maybe if you like live on your computer 24/7, you know? So I
Yeah,
really
I've
love
seen people
that.
say, yeah, me too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just saying, I see people what you're saying, like say I made $30,000 in 2 months and I quit my job and retired my husband, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, maybe you did that, but also like number one, what are we sharing this for? Like, what is the purpose of this? Does this help somebody else in some way, shape, or form? Realistically, sharing our income wins in that capacity do not. Now, I'm a sales coach. I do not share my own income wins. I don't believe in that. Other sales coaches do. I just don't think that makes sense because if my business is taking in clients to help them make sales, then my income is based off of them. It's weird. It's just weird if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think that I do share my clients' income wins because those are my clients and that's my work. And so I'm showcasing my work, right? And that's very, very different other than myself. But it depends on your business, it depends on your line of work. But you're right. We need to have integrity in all things and in every area of how we show up. So that's what I will say about optimizing your profile. Once your profile is optimized, you then need to make sure that you have a good overall strategy. So going back to, we're going to start at LinkedIn and then I'll go through each one. Um, when it comes to LinkedIn, we'll start with LinkedIn and go to Instagram. So when it comes to LinkedIn specifically, LinkedIn is very heavy on who are you connected to, right? And so LinkedIn is probably the easiest platform I've ever found. I tell people you don't need to spend more than 30 minutes a day on LinkedIn. It is so easy. It is silly. So the first couple of minutes, what I recommend every day is you go into LinkedIn and you go into the search bar and you type in a keyword for the type of person you're looking for. Let me give you an example. Let's say that I want to work with only social media managers, okay? I will go into my LinkedIn search bar and I will type in social media managers. Then you want to click the word people on that page on the search bar. So after you've clicked people, it will now show you a list of people who are social media managers. You can filter out. If I only work with people in the United States, for example, you can go to the filter section and type in the state, or you can even do it down to the city. If you only work with people in a specific city, you can go and search right there. You want to make 35 connections a day. This takes most of my clients, less than 10 minutes to do a day. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you need to know who you're searching for. So first you start off with, okay, I'm going to go on there and I'm going to search. I need a social media manager. I need them in the United States of America. Even that alone took less than 10 seconds for you to type in social media manager, press search, press people, press United States of America. You have a list of people. LinkedIn will show you your first connection, your second connection, and your third connection. Your third connections are people who they are not related to you. They don't know you. They have never met you. You've never met them. You guys do not know each other at all. Your second connection, because you'll see it says first, second, third, and you might be like, what does that even mean? This is what this means. Your third are people who are mutually connected. So they have one mutual connection with you, right? One or more. Then you have your first. These are people who are already connected with you. So you want to click the 2 or the 3, and you want to just press connect, connect. You just go down the list. And this is why it doesn't take very long. Connect, 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 connect with every person on that list. And what I love about LinkedIn is you can search for the person. You can, even in the filter section, you can filter out what type of job they do. So for example, what I mean by that is, do they work for somebody else as a social media manager? Or are they working for themselves? Is it their own
Oh
business
my
as a social media
goodness.
manager? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's powerful. So
it
that's why your
really
bio matters so much because people are going to search.
exactly, exactly. And then think about it too. Like if I was looking to hire a social media manager, how important would that be for that social media manager to have everything up to date,
Yeah.
that they work for themselves, that they live in America, that they like all these things, right? And so you're just going to go in and connect, and it's going to ask you, do you want to send that connection request with a message? And I have a copy paste message, and it's so generic, and it says, hi, first name. So you obviously the first name you have to type out because it's different every time. But hi, first name. I'd love to connect with you. And that's it. Hit percent. Call it a day. It doesn't take 10 minutes to just send out all those connection requests and then be done with it. Then from there, what I like to do, like I said, it takes 30 minutes total. I like to set a 10-minute timer, and I like to go down my list, and I like to, or down my feed, right? And I like to see how many people can I engage with in 10 minutes. That's it. Because every person you're connected with should be somebody that you would want to work with, somebody that you would want to, yeah, that would want to potentially hire you, right? You should not be connecting with anybody else, in my personal opinion, as a coach, just because you're in business to make money. So your connection pool needs to be people who realistically are your ideal clients, and that's really it. You don't need it for any other reason, unless you do, but I don't know. But if it is for business, then this is what we're using it for, and then we're going to stay on track with that. And so you're going to go down your list and you set your 10-minute timer. I usually do this on my phone, and I sit on my laptop, and I will comment on every person's post down the line for 10 minutes straight on each, not each post 10 minutes, but like 10 minutes total.
Right.
And then I would go through, right? And that's it. And then the last thing that I do is I make sure I post my content, which I typically batch, excuse me. And then, since it's batch, I'll just copy paste it, put it into LinkedIn, call it a day. I'm not worrying about it. I'm not thinking about it. It doesn't even take me a minute to just post it and be done. And then I go in and I see who connected with me yesterday. I don't ever talk to people who connected with me that same day, because personally, I'm just too busy for that. Not that I'm too busy to not that other people don't matter, that's not what I mean, but like because of life, right? Like I'm a
Mm-hmm.
homeschooling stay-at-home mama. I have a whole business. There's a lot going on a daily basis. So I go back to yesterday and I see who connected with me yesterday, who accepted my connection request yesterday. And I will send them a message and I will say, thank you so much for connecting with me. I look forward to getting to know you. And that's it. And the more you post your content and you sell in your content, you like give a link. If you do discovery calls, put your discovery call link at the bottom of every post. If you need someone to go to whatever landing page you have, put that on every post. But the more you engage and the more you constantly put your link on every post, people are going to buy from you. And that's that. LinkedIn is simple and easy, and it seems complicated at first, but you'll get a rhythm to it and it just becomes super easy.
Oh my goodness. I love that. That actually sounds totally doable. I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you're saying that really works for like no matter what business you're in because you're doing that search where you're actually finding people who you are going to serve with your business.
Exactly, exactly. And you can actually do the similar strategy on Insta. You can batch your content. The difference with Instagram and LinkedIn in that case, because you can search on Instagram too. You can't search like granular, like United States, or if they are self-employed or not, but you can type in like social media manager at the top and just see who pops up, right? Those types of things. And then you can send them a request. The biggest thing between Instagram and LinkedIn in that capacity is how you engage outside of their content, right? Because with Instagram, you're going to want to engage with stories. So you end up in their DMs. So you're naturally having a conversation. You can still batch your content. You can still, do the search thing, but you want to make sure that you're engaging with their stories more than I would say even some like feed content, right?
Mm.
And then also, you need to be selling in your stories every day. I know that for some people, that is intimidating. As a busy mama, I don't have time for it anymore, which is why LinkedIn is easier platform and I recommend it to more moms. But you need to sell. If you are going to be on Instagram, you need to show up and sell every day, Monday through Friday. No, like even if you're not posting content Monday through Friday, that's fine. You can post content once a week and get away with it. But you need to show up in your stories and really and truly go through your offer in your stories. And how I do this so simple. It's so simple. Just do like a one pager and just put who your offer is for, how it will help them specifically, like what is the end result that they're going to receive when they hire you or when they work with you or when they buy X, Y, and Z from you. How much does it cost? Why should they invest in it? And then put like an emoji tap button. Are you interested in this? Yes or no? But we need to talk about our offers on a daily basis because if you're not, you're leaving money on the table, and that's not good for business either. And if you're too busy to sell in your stories every day, to hop in your stories and talk about what your offer has involved in it, then you're missing out. And the last thing that I will say when it comes to Instagram is you also need to soft sell. So not just a hard sell of like, are you interested? But you need to soft sell. And so soft sell is when you talk about your offer without offering any form of opt-in or payment option. It is basically like, let me give you an example. I am a Christian sales coach, right? So if somebody comes to me and they're struggling with sales and they need to make sales in their business, let's say I brought them on, they are my client, and now I've taught them something. They have immediately been able to make a sale from that. I post that sale on my stories. That is soft selling because I'm
Mm.
not saying, hey, come work with me. I'm just showing you what I'm good at. I'm
Right.
showing you, and because you're seeing that, you're going to be like, want to hire her. And then by the time I post my hard sell where I'm like, here's an offer, here's a way in, tap this button and I'll DM you, right? Now you're going to tap that button because you've already seen my results. That's called soft selling versus hard selling in the Instagram stories. And yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what it does.
Oh, I love that. That makes so much sense, though. Thank you so much for explaining that, like in really simple terms, because I think sometimes we have people who come and they're like, "Hey, this is how you sell," and then it's like it's over my head, and I'm like, "I don't even know. This is so confusing, you know?" But you did such an amazing job at just really simplifying it down. Where I'm like, "Oh, okay, I can do that."
Yeah, exactly. And I try to be so like step by step because it is overwhelming when you don't know and you're relying on someone else for help. And then there's these bro marketers that are like, do this and then do that. But they're not like breaking down the steps. But when you break it down, it actually makes things so easy, so seamless, so attainable for business growth. And I love Instagram stories so much. I actually have an entire YouTube video on soft selling versus hard selling, how to sell in your stories in a way that is not sleazy, that is fun and exciting, and that just takes the guesswork off of selling. And so that will be linked to this, which I'm so excited about. And I really just thank you, Samantha, so much for the opportunity to come back on this show, deep dive into marketing strategies with you. This has been fun. And I really hope that anyone listening has been so blessed by this episode and that it helps them grow their own business.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I know how I have been blessed. I appreciate you so, so, so much. And yes, that video link will be down in the description and in the show notes. And plus all of our info again. And if you missed the first part of this, you need to go back and listen to it and then come back and listen to this again because honestly, this has been so good. Cienna, thank you so, so, so much.
You are so welcome. Thank you again for having me.
That's it for today's episode. I hope you learned something new or had a breakthrough. If you loved this episode, take a second to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It lets me know you're enjoying this content and helps more moms find it. And if you know another mama who's struggling with overwhelm and burnout, share this with her. Let's spread the word that AI isn't just for corporate executives or tech nerds, it's for moms like us. Until next time, go make AI work for you.